Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lara, and today I'm here with Daniel Chun with HCA Florida Putnam. And I had to read his shirt to remember that, guys, just so you know. At first, I was just going to go with HCA, but you helped me stay on track there. So thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to
Absolutely.
be here. Yeah.
And you have been with, how long have you been at HCA?
So I started as a student, I think back in 2020, and then I did my residency there for a year, and then I joined on as a clinical pharmacist, and then transitioned me into the role that I'm at currently, which is operations manager in the pharmacy department.
In July, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am, exactly.
The reality hit me that you started in 2020.
Yeah, I was a student.
Wow.
Yeah. So
trial by fire.
Yeah, exactly.
You were probably the most educated student that they have.
Hopefully,
the class of 2020 should really, tout that they have been through the ringers.
Exactly.
And you're still here, so that means you're definitely dedicated to the job.
Right.
Well, I am thankful to have been connected with you through your predecessor, if you will.
Yes.
And we were talking a little bit about your job, and I always thought it was like utter chaos because he was always all over the place. Shout out to Christian, who was a Rotarian with me. But it seems like it's just him. He and I are high energy, but you've got pretty much whatever's thrown at you as a project manager, right?
Right. So, I basically see like day-to-day operations of the pharmacy department, and then just manage the staff there and stuff. Definitely not as, moving around like Christian was before,
Yeah.
but I try to keep up with, all the policy changes and just operational changes, and just really try to help out the hospital as much as I can.
That's amazing. And we are thankful to have that resource there. I particularly have a lot of gratitude for how well the doctor's offices and the hospital work together. A good friend of ours on the channel has Dr. Curvilla came on,
Right.
And Dr. Curvilla was talking about if you have an issue, go see your primary care.
Right.
And an issue arose, he saw his primary care, and if it had not been for the swift action that was taken through the hospital, we would not have my good friend anymore. So
yeah, exactly.
Thankful to have that kind of resource here. So part of your overseeing is an event that you reached out to me about, and I'm very motivated to share this because, well, first let's talk about what the event is.
Okay, yeah. So the event is the Drug Take Back Day. It's sponsored by the DEA. It's happening this year, and it happens every year. But essentially what the program is we provide a day where the community can come to a location and drop off any unwanted medication. So really they're trying to highlight any narcotics out there that are being unused, or there's no need for them, but really we're willing to take any and all medications, get it off of your shelves. Since it's not being used, we just want to clean up your wherever you hoard your medications, but really clean up
like that,
yeah,
your medications.
Yeah, but really just trying to clean up your area, make it safer for the community, just so that that's where a lot of the issues can arise from, is just the unused medications just sitting there for a long time. So we're just trying to help out the community by providing an area where they can come and drop off their medications for and get rid of them for good. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. First thing I think about, like when you talk about keeping the community safe, is we've all seen that movie where like somebody's like rifling through your medicine cabinet at home. So that's pretty cliche, but if you have children or family members who are at your home and maybe a child gets into the medication and it's not something that you've used, where you're keeping it obviously is important in general, but
exactly.
The reason it was kind of close to my heart is I have heard stories of maybe grandmothers who have enough medication to supply an army from the 1990s on, and obviously some people have grown up in the mindset that, hold on to that, I might need that later.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, I have definitely been like, hey, I need an antibiotic, grandma's house,
Right, right.
and I think a lot of, especially people in my age group, have, grandma will take care of you, whatever. But having, I could definitely see the dangers of the narcotics being around.
Exactly.
But tell me, you were sharing a little bit before we got in here. Since this started, and I don't know how long it's been going on, but since you guys have been doing it, how much have you commandeered
Well,
roughly?
at least since I've been here, I had an opportunity to take part in it one year, and so it's at least a couple hundred, I would say, a couple hundred
Oh
pounds,
my gosh.
and it's just, people will bring trash bagfuls of medications that they have at home. So it's quite a bit, and usually it's not usually like 1 or 2 pill bottles that come by per person. It's usually trash bagfuls.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot, that we're trying
that's
to get rid of.
that's how I would envision the
Yeah,
hypothetical story that I
exactly,
know.
exactly.
Now, when somebody, like, what are the dangers? Let's say it's not a narcotic. Let's go back to antibiotics, or maybe at the time it was a medication that they were using for, I don't know, anything that's not narcotic,
Yeah, yeah.
like a cough medicine or something
Right,
like
right.
that. What are the dangers? Like, why would I want to consider returning those?
Right, because medications serve a purpose, and so the purpose is to treat a certain condition or help a person out, and it's prescribed by a doctor. And so when you have medications that are expired, or if it's just sitting there not being used, it has the danger of someone just accidentally taking it. A lot of these medications look like little pieces of candy for little children. And so let's say you have some laying around and they just see it and pick it up and take it.
Right.
Like they take a blood pressure medication by accident, then their
Right.
blood pressure drops and then they have to go to the hospital because they
That's
passed
a great
out.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you get unintended consequences from accidentally having these around.
Right.
And we're just trying to mitigate and lessen the damage of having these around, especially if you don't use them anymore.
Right.
And so we're not trying to get rid of any of your medications that you do currently use.
Right. Don't bring the ones that you're on right now.
Right,
Please.
right. Yeah. Please take them as prescribed.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're no longer using them, then they're just sitting there collecting dust, taking up space, and potentially in reach for those that don't need it, or
Right.
is not needed.
it,
Exactly, exactly.
And is there harm, while we're doing some education here, in taking expired medication?
So generally the expiration comes from, it over time it loses its efficacy. So how well it works. So that's why they do set those expiration dates, just so that they can just, be like, hey, it's not as effective anymore. You should get rid of it.
Yeah.
Essentially. Now it's not necessarily more dangerous, but because it's not working as it's intended, now you're not getting the benefits that you need to.
Right.
So.
And some medications may have been like discontinued, I'm sure. Something that, I think about when I was a kid, there was a point where, I age myself all the time on this podcast. I don't know why. I'm 40 and proud. But there was a time when I was a child that they were like, oh, eggs are bad for you.
Right.
Don't eat eggs. And then all of a sudden, eggs aren't really that bad.
Yeah.
But there may have been some medications that they were like, oh, this is great. And then you see all the time on TV, have you or a family member been harmed by the use of, Cialis is what pops in my head.
Right,
I don't know why. I don't even know what that's for.
Yeah.
But you know what that's for.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully it wasn't offensive. So
Very good.
Anyway, so there may be a medication that at the time you were prescribed that now, while it is still for the same thing, may not be a benefit to you at all.
Exactly. So it happens all the time. Medicine is just always constantly evolving, and research is constantly coming out. And so there might be new data that suggests that you shouldn't be taking it.
Right.
And then additionally, a doctor might have changed your dose, and then so you might have a bigger dose that you should be taking, or a lesser dose. But if you keep the old one around, you might start confusing those two as well.
Right.
And so we just want to make sure that we stay on top of it, make sure that the drug that you're supposed to be taking is the one, and then try to get rid of any that you're not using.
Right. And for that matter, maybe your doctor has added a medication that might coincide or have a negative reaction.
100%. That's part of the job of the pharmacist, is to, make sure that they're they're evaluating any interactions. If you're on a new medication, we're evaluating to make sure that those are safe, and then we work with your doctor to make sure that, hey, are you okay with this? And does the benefit outweigh the risk at that point?
Absolutely.
And so we're all trying to work as a team to make sure that the patients are being appropriately treated.
Well, we very much appreciate that. And I know we all know someone who could benefit from Drug Take Back Day.
Yes.
So is it just at the hospital that they are being commandeered, taken back?
So I know several community pharmacies have 24/7. Essentially, whenever they're open, you're allowed to bring back any of those medications. This is more so an event that is highlighted by the DEA, just to promote an event that encourages people to bring in any unwanted medication.
I put it on my calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a little fall cleaning, if you will.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it's just to promote this idea of, hey, maybe it's time to look through your medicine cabinet and clear out anything. And unfortunately, a lot of this occurs where someone passes away, like a grandmother or a family member, and they have a bunch of medications just sitting there now. And then so, we're just trying to, be like, hey, just look around your household, see if there's anything you guys can clear out, make it safer for your own household as well, and just bring it to us, and then we'll get rid of it for you.
So really what the event itself is something where you put on your calendar, and let's get the date real quick. So what date is this?
Right, so it's happening on October 26th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the hospital in the front parking lot. So.
Okay, so there is an event itself that on October 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the hospital, people would be there to receive the drugs that they are taking back, right?
Exactly.
However, at any point in time, our viewers could take their expired, their unused medications to any pharmacy. Does it have to be the pharmacy that got it filled out?
No. So it's not all pharmacies partake in it. So you would have to kind of look into it and maybe call the pharmacy to just double check. I know we work with the Palatka Police Department as well. So we have a representative come out from them, and they also have been collecting unwanted medications as well. And so this is not just like, oh, hey, this happens on this date only, and then I have to wait till the next time it happens.
Right.
There are places within the community that are willing to take any of your unwanted medications that are out there.
So just give your local pharmacy a call,
right?
See if that's something that they would do.
Exactly.
And if not, every year they could come see you guys.
Exactly.
And is it always October 26th?
It's always usually around that time from what I've seen. The dates might change here and there. It's usually on a Saturday.
Okay.
Near the end of October.
Okay.
So that's something
you can come back every year and tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
And then give us fun facts from the last year.
Yeah,
I'm sure that
see if there's any stats that come out from the year before. See if we've improved at all.
Exactly. Well, that's a great resource for this community, and really on the channel we try to bring fun and good information, but we also want to bring information to the community that helps make us better and keeps us safe. And I thought this was a great one to highlight. So I appreciate you coming out. Are there anything that you want to share with the viewers, like advisory wise, when from a pharmacy perspective, any hot trends that any new policies that came out that are interesting? Give us a fun fact or something.
Oh, man.
I put you on the spot, I know.
Yeah. Well, I will say something that our hospital has kind of partnered with the state is a Narcan program. So so like we're trying to provide anyone who's at high risk, or if you have family members who are on chronic opioids, that we do have free Narcan available, and also Narcan vending machines around the community.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So it's more so to keep them safe, and like if someone's overdosing, then you just want to administer it. Has very little side effects, and so it's more so to help keep people help them survive a situation and an
Right.
unwanted situation. And so if you're concerned with any family members that might need it, there are vending machines out there. There are services out there to provide. But it's something that's available within this community for the population here.
Can they just call the hospital to find the location of those machines?
Yeah, they can either call us. It's all online as well. We partner with, again, the police department and SMA Healthcare as well.
Wonderful.
And we have all those locations set up. But if anyone is curious or wondering, they can also give us a call, and we'll provide that information.
And we'll leave
to
links
them.
below and all this information below,
Right.
as always. I have to just say or share one thing that I did not understand when I first was educated about Narcan. We always try to keep people safe and in the community and the folks that we're taking care of in our buildings. And so a local community member and employee had brought in some Narcan, and I was like, help me understand that. I've watched enough crime shows that I had a little bit of knowledge, I felt. But,
Okay.
So I thought that Narcan was used for like an illicit drug use overdose, until I found out that maybe you are taking medications that might interact, or taking the wrong medication, the old medication. And so it isn't always somebody who's done something illegal. It could very well be someone who's prescribed a medication, messed up, and it sends them into an overdose.
Exactly. So this applies to you might have family members that have chronic pain, and so they're put on an opioid regimen, and sometimes they might forget that they took a dose, and they take another dose, and then it puts them into respiratory depression. That's when Narcan can come in and help them survive. Their chance of surviving increases exponentially, with having Narcan around so available. Whereas if you call EMS or 911, they would come and do the same thing, but the timing is delayed at that point.
Right.
And so having that available near you for your loved ones who are on chronic opioids, or just having it on you if like a child, for example, picks up a medication and takes it, and then they go into respiratory depression, or if they can't stop breathing.
Them.
No, it will not hurt them. So this is safe for all people of all ages, even pets. If they take it by accident, you can administer Narcan to them. And so
I've never got to see that. I'm sure that training was interesting to see.
yeah. But it's just there to keep family and just the community safe.
Right.
Just to have it readily available, and just decrease the amount of deaths that are happening from opioid overdose.
That's amazing, and it's free. So they would just be able to go pick it up at the vending machine. Or come to the hospital. That is such an amazing resource. So I'm glad I asked about that fun fact. Sorry I put you on the spot, but
no
it was
worries.
well worth it.
Yeah.
So you guys have two takeaways. Number one, that you can go get Narcan at the vending machines, which you can call the hospital or check out the links below to locate, or come to the hospital itself right here in Palatka. And then number two, Drug Take Back Day, October 26th, 10 to 2 in the parking lot of the hospital. For anybody who watches this channel, I did a really good job at remembering all that stuff, by the way. And if you are not able to make it to Palatka, please call your local pharmacy. And I'm sure that this is a bonus question. If I have my grandmother, let's say, who has all these medications but can't take them herself, am I able to take them for her?
Yes. So you can bring all of her stuff there. We have a police officer there that's going to be, making sure that nothing strange is happening. But you can take medications into this DEA take back program on behalf of someone else or your family member. So
just didn't want anybody getting in trouble. What, ma'am? Why do you have a bag of medication?
Right.
It's Drug Take Back Day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, awesome. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yes.
I'm glad to finally meet you, and I look forward to coming back next year for some statistics and more helpful tips.
I'm looking forward as well. Thank you.
All right, guys, be responsible. Do the right thing. Check out the links below. We'll see you on the next episode.